I guess if you liked the first movie, you're gonna love this one.
I'll take care of you both till my last breath.
Guys, in case you guys forgot, there is actually a Greenland Part 1 that came out in the year 2020. And I'm sure everyone remembers a movie that came out 6 years ago because we were all begging for a sequel to one of the most disastrous, apocalyptic, world-ending movies ever. Where do I even begin with this January trash, man? Oh my goodness, this shit was fucking ridiculous. Spoiler warning for those of you who actually care about these movies, by the end of the first one, they open up the gates and set up a sequel of our characters trying to recolonize the Earth because, well, I guess all the fucking meteor strikes are gone, or whatever the fuck that happened. But it turns out the surface is not all that survivable yet, so they decide to go back underground, and for the next 5 years, they've been waiting for a sign that they can finally go back to the surface and start growing food and finding farm life, whatever the fuck. But due to some unfortunate events that force our characters outside of the bunkers, they must make their way to the promised land, make their way to this place that they hope exists and is full of life, where society, where people, where humanity can rise once again. That is the plot of Greenland 2 Migration, and if it sounds very familiar to you guys, it's probably because us gamers have played Fallout and know exactly what type of scenario our characters are walking into.
Well now, if it isn't the little saint from the vault.
Except in this movie, there's no cool power armor, there's no aliens to fight, and holy shit, there's a whole bunch of fucking plot conveniences that happen every fucking corner. Like I said at the beginning, guys, if you enjoyed the first movie, don't let me stop you from enjoying this movie. To those of you who don't give a single fuck, we're gonna break this movie down. We're gonna get deep into spoilers. We're gonna make fun of this piece of shit. We're gonna dive deep into the layers, the meanings, the depth. I'm gonna try to go over every single ridiculous moment in this movie because holy shit, whoever wrote this movie didn't seem to give a single damn about anything. Our main three characters are gonna have the most insane plot armor ever. Oh no, our characters are stranded and need help immediately. Holy shit! Thank goodness that some person happens to be right around the corner and is nice and friendly and wants to help them for free. This movie doesn't even seem to try to hide how shameless it is. Like every good January movie, we need to start off with some narration by the main character, Gerard Butler, who is very clearly too damn old for this movie and definitely way too unfit. Greenland 2 Migration takes place 5 years after the first film, so it's kind of like on track with real life, you know, our timeline. Gerard Butler is cosplaying as an arc raider and goes to the surface every once in a while to go and hopefully obtain useful tools, items, whatever. I should make it clear that I don't really remember much about the first movie, just bits and pieces, and I watched a recap video. Gerard Butler stumbles upon 2 lifeboats and 1 giant shipwreck that he decides to enter in search of tools and materials. He manages to find a few things until a lightning storm starts coming through the area and he needs to race back, go back to the bunker because holy shit, that thing is moving real fast and if you don't get inside, Gerard Butler, you gonna get fried. So Gerard Butler manages to run back all the way to the bunker right on time, right as the storm is just about to hit his ass. Bam! The door closes and he's good to go. I don't know how many people are living in this underground bunker. I don't even think the movie knows, but that's besides the point because they are currently struggling, barely surviving on rations. But Marina Karn, however the fuck you pronounce her last name, she really thinks it's important that they go and try to save more people, as many people as they can that are trying to survive on the surface or in caves or somewhere. They got a distress signal, and in this meeting of like a table of 12 people, they all decide, the majority decide to vote that yes, we need to save more of these people, even though we're already struggling enough. I'm not gonna complain too much about that because that does make some interesting stuff happening underground, these issues that people have to deal with when they're trying to survive. But none of this really goes anywhere because not too long after, when they decide to go and try to save these people, you know, they got their soldiers out there in the fucking jeeps and shit, driving these people in. Oops, oh my god. The tectonic plates are moving. Our bunker's getting fucked up. Everybody hold on, it's an earthquake. Gerard Butler literally survives a giant stone rock falling on his face when he's on the ground, gets up and is like, oh yeah mate, it's just my Irish blood in me. That was my poor attempt at an Irish accent, but instead I did an Australian accent. With the bunker falling out, Gerard Butler manages to make his way towards his family and helps them navigate a way out of there. And coincidentally, unfortunately, the main gates that everyone is trying to get through to get out of the bunker, I guess they're just stuck. They're just not working properly. Wow, what a coincidence. So, Gerard Butler manages to find another way, another exit, another entrance out of the fucking bunkers. But they have to go through this whole fucking thing, crawl under this thing, and open this gate that just so happens to be the only one working. But then, the moment they get out, what the? How did all these other people get out? Was it like were there other gates that we didn't know about that our main characters could have just gone out with all those other people? What? Make sure to keep in mind that there are a lot of people in front of our main trio. Gerard Butler, Morena Baccarin, and Roman Griffin Davis, who you might recognize from... Of course you can. That's right, Jojo's Rabbit. Everybody apparently has the same idea. Let's all go towards the lifeboats. You know, the 2 tiny lifeboats that can barely fit 10 people. Somehow all these hundreds of people are gonna try to squeeze into one. Apparently this military-led bunker didn't have a plan B in case the bunker fails. They didn't set up a second site to go to. They didn't have a plan. They just said, fuck it. Everybody for themselves. Everyone run toward the boat. Whoever first come, first serve. Woohoo! You better make it in there. You better get inside the boat. Good luck to whoever doesn't make it. Again, keep in mind that there are a lot of people already ahead of our main trio. They stop to help someone up from the ground, and once they reach the waters where the lifeboats are at, Gerard Butler also needs to save his best friend who's getting into a fist fight, and then they somehow miraculously make it inside the tiny lifeboat. Him, his family, his best friend. Meanwhile, there's like fucking 10, 20 people all over that thing, hovering over it. Thank goodness that they didn't have the same idea, the same bright idea to climb into this fucking little lifeboat. God, apparently everyone's too dumb to figure out how to climb into a lifeboat. But that's why our main characters are our main characters, because they not some dumb bitches. So the lifeboat sails away as a new lightning storm starts rolling through, so everyone else who didn't make it in the boat, they're all dead. They're dead, okay? Just accept that they left everyone for dead. There was nothing. I guess they really didn't have a contingency. They're sailing across the sea in the direction of a European town. I forgot where the fuck the name of the place was. Maybe London or something. And unfortunately, they run out of gas, so they're kind of stranded, and they hope that the waves will push them towards society, towards humanity, towards land. And can you guess what happens next? They coincidentally and somehow miraculously reach land. So they decided to paddle the rest of the way there to a much more proper spot and all get out. Thank goodness they managed to get there on time before they started killing each other and eating one another inside this little boat. They're hungry, they're thirsty, they're in search of life and a new home, and coincidentally, literally right down the street, there's other people surviving in this town. Not only that, but it seems like some folks are cooking up some steak because does that boy look good. And wouldn't you know it, there just so happens to be a military quarantine zone there, right around the corner for all main characters to go to. These army guys are apparently guarding another bunker and aren't exactly the nicest folks, so they kill one of the folks that's within the crew with our main characters. And well, I didn't really care about that guy. The movie didn't really develop him at all, and you're gonna quickly learn that people just die in this movie with no emotional weight at all. And wouldn't you know it, the moment the military shoots dead one of their party members, a fucking lightning storm just rolls on through. So our main characters have to figure out how to get the hell out of there, get some shelter before they get fried. And what a coincidence! What a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost like the script provides whenever they need something. There is a man with a working van that fits everyone, that fits all the party inside of it. So they take off, racing against this lightning storm that's coming in very quickly because apparently this old ass van with all these people can manage to do that. Unfortunately, their journey by van is ended shortly because coincidentally, there is a meteor shower coming down on them and they need to brace for impact. Hold on to a tree because of the wind. It's gonna blow you back. You need to stand behind something in case a fucking meteorite hits you. And you know what? They're pretty smart and quick about it, but wow, the guy who drives the van, I guess the driver that we got to know for 2 seconds decided that he needed to go race towards his van and die with it because it's the only thing he has, so he has to be with it. He needs to die with it, and you know what? I can respect it. I can respect that. I just wish it was a little bit more funny. At this point in the movie, there are only 4 main characters. I don't know what happened to the rest of the people that was in the same boat as them. What happened to the fucking driver? The guy that was, you know, managing, steering the boat? What happened to the rest of them? There was like 10 or 15 of them, and somehow we ended up with only 4. What? We saw one guy from the party get shot dead. What happened to the rest of them? Anyways, our main characters decide to walk the rest of the way in hopes that a person they once knew before the apocalypse, before the end of the world, they hope that this person is still there. And what do you know? What a coincidence. This person happens to still be there, running, I guess, a little fucking nursing home or something with all these old people. Thank goodness this person has somehow managed to survive and take care of this place all on her own, and somehow still be able to scrounge up food and drinks and whatever, I guess, because this movie makes a lot of sense. They decide to stay there for the night and try to figure out their game plan of where they want to go after all this. So, in the middle of the night, before they go to bed, Gerard Butler is having a coughing fit. Turns out, he's dying. The radiation, you know, because that was a really big thing at the start of the movie. There's radiation, you know, leftover meteorite, radiation, whatever the fuck. He's dying, you know. I guess no one else has to worry about radiation though, because at some point in the second act of this movie, they just completely forgot about the radiation. Gerard Butler only has about 6 to 8 weeks, so he decides to take a chance with this theory that a crater, a place where supposedly there is no radiation, there is nothing bad happening, where life can actually grow, where people are now surviving in this paradise. We need to go there. This place that we apparently haven't really heard much about. It's all just theory. They're gonna go. Fuck it. Let's take a chance and go to this place that we've only kind of heard rumors about. There's a theory about how this place is untouched or whatever, or it's been formed and there's no lightning storms. They're gonna go there. Their friend gives them a car and gun and warns them to be careful because, you know, London ain't London no more. People are different. Everyone's kind of out for each other, trying to scrounge up whatever food, and yeah, you get what I'm saying. So they're driving through the night, you know, all is fine and dandy. Nothing could go wrong. There definitely isn't gonna be some crazy shit that's gonna happen in this scene where these 4 characters are just having a good time bantering with one another. No. Definitely nothing's gonna go wrong. Of course, I mean, in this empty road where anybody could potentially be, you know, hiding camping in the bushes, waiting to ambush them and steal their shit. Oh no, the death of a character that I couldn't give two shits about because she was never developed whatsoever. This is the moment that Amber Rose Riva is shot dead, and if you're wondering why she looks familiar, it's because she's from the show The Punisher by Netflix.
Frank, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, okay?
Guys, I need you to enter the mind of Gerard Butler in this moment. You're getting shot up, potentially on both sides. Someone in your party in the back seat is shot dead. What would be the best thing to do when you're in a vehicle, okay? You don't know where these shooters are at. They could be anywhere in the dark. What would be the best thing to do while you're still in your car? Okay? What would be the best thing? What would be the best move right now? The smartest thing to do would be to get out of the car and try to shoot down these motherfuckers. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Hiding in the dark. And thank goodness these two ambushers are some of the most incompetent people ever. Instead of just staying where they were and just shoot down our main characters, they decide to stand up, walk out of their hiding spots, and approach Gerard Butler wide in the open to let him shoot them down. The worst part is that our main characters have no survival instinct whatsoever. Why not take the gear that these guys have? Take their guns. You know, you just survived the shooting. You might as well take their shit and try to prepare yourself in case you run into more crazy motherfuckers. So once both ambushers are down, our main characters decide to hold a tiny little funeral for Amber Rose Riva, who unfortunately passed away to her gunshot wounds. I'm not too sure where they buried her, but Gerard Butler says some kind of old school Irish prayer and they move on with their life, driving forward. Something they could have done during the shootout. This is where we reach the infamous bridge sequence, or the ladder bridge sequence with the string rope bridge sequence too. They have to abandon their car and cross this extremely windy, sketchy looking bridge made of string, and then cross this sketchy ass looking bridge made of ladders. And they're not the only people there. It seems like everyone else has the same idea to go to this crater. Of course, through some insane miracle, our main characters managed to cross the canyon. If you were actually worried for a second that our characters would fall down that canyon, you must not watch a lot of movies, because holy shit, the plot armor is insane in this movie. Our characters aren't gonna die, they're not gonna get hurt, they're untouchable. After crossing the canyon, they continue onwards on foot in the direction of
Burgers.
this crater, and happen to stumble upon a smaller crater, and they think for a second, there's no way this is the place, right? What? They look around, checking their surroundings, making sure they're going the right direction, and decide that they should just keep on walking. Wha-bam! Coincidentally, there is a nice fellow with a van that would take them to where they need to go by allowing them to stay at his place for a day until they figure out what else to do. When they reach his home, we are introduced to his wife, who is unfortunately stuck in a wheelchair due to radiation, something that we all kind of forgot about throughout this entire movie at this point, and his young daughter, who is very obviously gonna be going with them to this new paradise, to this crater, because he is obviously probably going to ask Gerard Butler to take her with them because he wants a better life for his daughter. And what do you know it, the next night, or actually the next day, after just, you know, after one night of just getting to know each other, their dad is like, can you please take my daughter with you to this paradise because I want her to have a better life? And of course, Gerard Butler and his wife is like, yes. Gerard Butler and Morena are like, yes, we'll take her. We'll take her. And wouldn't you know it, this friendly stranger happens to know everything there is to know about this crater, that there's currently a war going on, people trying to fight and control and obtain this territory, and he happens to know the route and connections to get to where they want to go, and he just so coincidentally happens to have served in a war with one of the leaders that's currently in this war at the crater, so of course he sets them up for success. Okay, we are transitioning into the third act of this movie. My goodness, it feels like it's been 3 hours because of how boring this movie has been, how predictable it all is, how ridiculous everything in this movie is. Oh my goodness. So random friendly stranger who decides to entrust Gerard Butler with his daughter gives them his van and they're off to the crater. They're off. And after driving for a little bit, they decide to take a little break and have a picnic on the side of the road. And wouldn't you know it, coincidentally, the military shows up right behind them, pulling out their guns, asking who they are. Guess what? You wouldn't believe it. The military that they needed to get in connects with, the people that will help them guide through this war territory that's happening, or this war zone. Our main characters coincidentally happen to be at the perfect spot where the good guys found them and helped them across this war zone, and thankfully no one gets shot. None of our main characters get hit. They just get through all fine, dilly dally dandy. Why is this war happening? I don't know. I don't remember. How is it even happening? Who fucking knows? Where are all the resources coming from for people to even have this war? I don't know. After crossing this war zone, they managed to reach a military camp where the supposed leader, who's friends with the strange fellow who was cool and let his daughter go with them, it turns out that guy, this leader, commander, or whatever, unfortunately, he got shot dead. So Gerard Butler decides to beg for his life, beg the new commander to give his family a ride on a bus to the crater, because we need to really get there right now, because I promised my family that I need to get them there because I'm dying. I only got about 6 to 8 weeks left. Please let my family go on this bus to the crater. The new commander relents and tells his soldiers to create some more space on the bus for our main 4 characters to get on and get ahead of all these other people who've been waiting for days to go to the crater. Fuck it. Who cares? Who cares about all these other people who've also been sacrificing so much to get there? Who cares about them? Because they're not the main character. And wouldn't you know it, they get ambushed. The 2 soldiers on the bus go out to try to deal with the insurgents and unfortunately get killed, and the fucking guys who ambushed them gets everyone out of the bus, so Gerard Butler has to take things into his own hands and deal with one of them. He manages to take a gun from one of the insurgents and kills him with it, while the folks outside all crowd over one dude and finish him off.
That's what she said.
There was like 2 or 3 more insurgents, but they were killed by the 2 good military guys before they got killed. So, you know, whatever, I guess. Turns out Gerard Butler also got shot while he was trying to take the gun away from the other soldier. So the bus driver is dead, so Miranda Baccarin decides to drive the bus herself with everyone back on board, and they are rushing their way to paradise because Gerard Butler doesn't have much time left. He's bleeding out. They drive the bus as far as they can up until they reach a hill where it gets stuck, so they decide to abandon the bus, and everyone starts hiking up this hill in hopes that they witness paradise. They see their new homes. And wouldn't you know it, there's other cars there, other people already making their way there, so everyone here with our main characters, they're not the first. I guess the insurgents were waiting for this bus specifically. Why? They apparently just really needed this bus. So they get over the hill and oh my goodness. Beauty. Beautiful. It's a new home. It's a paradise. the crater is real. This whole new town where people are farming, people are growing food, people have got livestock. My goodness, it's true. The rumors are true. And now that they have reached their destination, Gerard Butler, sadly and unfortunately, dies. Oh yeah, nobody gives a fuck. And of course, you can't end this movie without some narration by Gerard Butler to bring everything full circle, because the movie started with narration. That is Greenland to Migration, a movie that nobody asked for, a movie that everyone's gonna forget about, a movie that's gonna go to streaming literally probably the next day or in a week from now, because who actually cares? This movie gets a who asked out of 5. So I guess the only question that really matters at the end of the movie is, why the fuck were they hiding in a bunker for 5 years when everyone was already recolonizing the Earth?